टूटे हुए गिरे पड़े शाही महलात में अब मकड़ी ने जाल तन रखा है और अफरासियाब सिफत आदिल शाहियों के किले जात पर आजकल उल्लू बोल रहे हैं। यूसुफ आदिल खान, Bahmani governor of Bijapur, province assumed autonomous rule from 1489, but he did not relinquish allegiance to Bahmani rulers. The Bahmani province of Bijapur constituted his state with Bijapur as its capital. Defenses of Bijapur were an imperative need to protect from the neighbors who were always at arms. Moreover, Yusuf was apprehensive of Bahmani court's conspiracy and attempt to recover the territory from him. Yusuf laid the foundations of the walls of the Arq-Killah in 1512. Basatino Salatin states 1513 in solid masonry to form a lasting protection than its old dilapidated mud walls. Of Bahmani period, afforded Ferista informs us that a mud fort originally stood on the site. As Yusuf was busy in wars and administration of the newly formed state, the construction of the walls took several years to complete. The construction continued during the period of his two successors. This is evident from an earliest inscription dated 1514 of Ismail Adil Khan's period of rule, thus suggesting that the construction was completed within 4 years of Yusuf's death. The Arq-Killah is oval in plan but oriented slightly northeast-southwest. A major portion of the Arq-Killah is still existing. It measures about 550 meters northeast and about 500 meters southwest. The walls are about 10 to 12 meters in height, as well as in which it covered a small area of about 42 acres. The fortification of Arq-Killah appears to be of various dates, as it was repaired from time to time. It was a formidable structure with double walls of varying height from 10.5 meter to 8.5 meter, and a strong fortified gate. The intact walls of the Arq-Killah are illustrated here. The main entrance to the Arq-Killah was to the south, and the smaller one, a postern on the west, below the Chinchididi Mosque. The general plan of the main gateway, which is earliest part of the Arq-Killah, is shown here. It consists of a barbican, the main gateway, which is flanked on either sides by two large towers. An inner court enclosed by a semicircular wall. There are guard rooms at the entrance gateway and inside before the inner court. The gateway had two leaved wooden door which was protected by machicolations on the side. There are many recesses in the semicircular wall of the inner court. The curtain walls have been broken down on the east of the gateway and they are falling away regularly. Subsequently, Ibrahim Adil Khan rebuilt the Arq-Killah and made it more stronger. As evident from an inscription dated 1544, he built two hisars or the surrounding walls and two ditches. The Arq-Killah walls, which were built solidly, are in ruins and collapsed condition. Portion of them still survive at some places. They were demolished during the 19th century to make roads. There is a barbican adjacent to the outer gate. The entrance of the Arq-Killah are seen In the last case, the bastions are seen on the entry right. Behind the two arched entrances is a mosque. Arq-Killah walls with the moat filled with water is seen in the illustration. An arched entrance into the Arq-Killah with adjoining buildings in ways in ruins. There are two gateways within a few yards of each other, the outer being protected by a flanking wall and barbican thrown across before it. Thus, for the final exit, one has to turn right angle to this gate. The interior has a bastion between the entrances. This bastion has been called the Burj-e-Ilahi in the inscription. There are inscriptions on the bastions inside and outside the south gateway of the Arq-Killah. They reveal that construction of the walls were undertaken before the outer defensive work of the gateway, and probably before the outer arched gateway. The outer gateway was constructed later on as an additional safeguard. There are inscriptions on the bastions inside and outside the south gateway of the Arq-Killah. They reveal that construction of the walls were undertaken before the outer defensive work of the gateway, and probably before the outer arched gateway. The outer gateway was constructed later on as an additional safeguard. Subsequently, the outermost flanking walls and barbicans were built to cover this gate. Between these entrances was the courtyard, and it was well defended by the battlements. There was sufficient accommodation for the guards in the courtyard, in which towers above the battlements and bastions. The walls in ashlar masonry were built solidly. The defences consists of a rampart, fausse bray flanked by towers and a moat of 120 feet width. The bastions are almost round in shape, some are polyhedron and project out in some instances more than half their diameter from the walls. The bastions are massive structures which are connected with the curtain walls. These are backed up by heavy ramparts of 30 to 40 feet in height. The walls and bastions have battlements with embrasures and merlons. The crenellations in the walls are illustrated. During the later times, elevated platforms were built above the bastions for big guns, and additional battlements were built. There is an inscription on a burj of the Arq-Killah wall. The translation of the text read as, "All there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is the Prophet of Allah." Abul Muzaffar Adil Shah. The fort of the Bijapur, Kannada, was built by the great Khan Ikhtiyar Khan of Gujarat. It was completed by the hand of Kaka, of the servants of one whom is of exalted rank, the Sultan, on the 30th of the month of Rabiul Awwal, year 1565. An inscription on the lintel of the Arq-Killah gateway in the center records that it was constructed by Bakhtiyar Khan in 1542 during the reign of Ibrahim Adil Shah.